Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down a political story that is just a total implosion. We're going to walk through the stunningly fast resignation of a U.S. congressman and try to figure out what it all means for the bigger political picture. Okay, so let's get right into it. The bombshell that absolutely rocked Washington. Now, the source material we're looking at here is a broadcast that basically caught the exact moment a major political career just fell apart, suddenly, abruptly. So first things first, what actually happened? Well, on April 13th, 2026, California Congressman Eric Swalwell made an announcement that really sent shockwaves through D.C. Yep, you heard that right. He was vacating his seat in Congress. Just gone. And what's wild is that this ended a career that literally just days before included a run for governor of California. Talk about a sudden change. So you gotta ask, how does a politician even begin to explain something like this? Well, let's break down his official statement word for word to see how he framed his side of the story. Right off the bat, he leads with a direct apology. He's pretty vague on what the mistakes in judgment actually were, but he starts by owning them and saying he's sorry to his family, his staff, and, the people who voted for him. And here's where he draws a really clear line in the sand. He makes a point to say he's going to fight what he calls serious false allegations, but in the same breath, he says he's taking responsibility for the mistakes I did make. So he's kind of positioning himself as both a victim of lies and someone owning up to their actions. And this is the official reason he gives for stepping down. He's framing the whole resignation not as him admitting guilt, but as a selfless act to keep his personal fights from becoming a distraction for the people he represents. So, what on earth could lead to such a sudden announcement? I mean, a resignation like this just doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? Turns out it was the climax of a really fast-moving and, pretty damaging chain of events. Let's trace it back. The broadcast we're pulling from calls it a weekend of implosion, where one single report kicked off a complete and total political collapse. And man, it was a fast and furious cascade of events. It started with a report in the San Francisco Chronicle, a really serious allegation of sexual assault from a former staffer. Right after that, boom, CNN comes out with a report featuring 3 more women alleging impropriety. And according to our source material, the fallout was immediate. His campaign staff started heading for the doors, he was pressured to drop out of the governor's race, which he did, and then, just like that, he resigned from Congress altogether. As you can imagine, this news just ignited a political firestorm. Let's get into the analysis from the broadcast panel, which was, let's just say it was direct, unfiltered, and pretty severe. Yeah, the panel's take was absolutely brutal. One person said it was the only decision for him. Another claimed his own constituents felt underrepresented and wouldn't even miss him. A third argued he'd been a distraction since day one. The criticism even got personal, with one panelist flat out calling him a really dumb guy. And to really hammer the point home, another made this incredible claim that he had missed more votes than a member of Congress who had actually passed away. Okay, and this is where the discussion got really interesting, because it pivoted to this whole idea of due process. See, in his statement, Swalwell claimed he was being pushed out without it, but a panelist on the broadcast immediately shot back, arguing that Swalwell, and I'm quoting here, never gave it to Kavanaugh during those intense Supreme Court hearings. The panelist was basically painting it as a classic case of political hypocrisy. And some of the commentary was just totally celebratory. I mean, one panelist didn't pull any punches, saying the news put her in a great mood and that she hoped this was the absolute end of his political career. All right, so Swalwell is officially out of Congress, but his resignation is hardly the end of the story. If anything, it just opens up a whole new can of worms with a bunch of questions about what's going to happen next. The broadcast really laid out several threads to keep an eye on. First, the panelists mentioned he's actually facing a criminal investigation, and one source claimed even more allegations are on the way. Then there's the politics of it all. His exit completely shakes up the California governor's race, creating a huge power vacuum. And maybe the biggest thing? It puts a massive spotlight on 3 other members of Congress who were reportedly also facing calls to be expelled. So that's where we're left. The immediate drama might be over, but the aftershocks, they're just getting started. Think about it. This could change election outcomes. It could change the power dynamics in Congress itself. The main story is done, but the fallout, well, that story is really just beginning.